This video is all about typography secrets in designing paper cuts. I'll be discussing what typography looks best, in what composition, and how you can make sure the words don't fall apart when you start paper cutting. Before you decide on a quote, you must first read its license. Quotes, fonts, and elements can all be copyright protected by their owners. So if you wish to sell something with someone else's quote on it, you must first get the author's written permission. If you can't, because they're super famous, like Disney, then it's best not to use their quotes. Also, attributing a quote to its author does not make it legal to use either. Quotes before 1923 have been released to the public domain and can be used for commercial purposes. If hundreds of people on Etsy are using a quote, then that's usually a good indication that the quote is now in the public domain and can be used commercially. However, if you don't know who the author is, there still is a risk in using it. When you go looking for commercial fonts to use on your paper cut, make sure that they come with an extended license. Look for open type fonts, also called OTF. These fonts include all the beautiful swashes and fancy swirls. It's a great idea to buy them as a bundle from websites like fontbundles.net. Reflect the word's meaning. The font you choose sets the mood of the quote and helps the reader to understand it better. In this example, the word dream is written with a fancy swash on the letter D, as if it is actually dreaming away. The word big is big, and as for the little one, well, the letters are too busy hanging off things and playing around, just like children do. A big secret for designers who wish to sell their templates is to use original fonts. If a beginner saw a paper cut template in a common boring font, she could design it herself using a simple Word document. Therefore, it's necessary to make your templates unique by using original fonts. If you're using two or more fonts in a design, then don't place two similar fonts next to each other. This is because opposites attract based on their style, size, and weight. So for example, if you have a bold block font, then place it next to a thin cursive font. Or you could place a word with a negative cut next to one which is an ordinary cut. Create a visual hierarchy. This applies to the word's style, size, and arrangement. So if the text is long, pick out the most important words and make them bigger and bolder than the rest of your text. You could also place them on their own line or in the center of your design to make them stand out from the rest. Be consistent. Never use more than 3 fonts in your design. This makes the design look cluttered and unprofessional. Be clear. Make sure all the words are illegible. Words positioned sideways or upside down are difficult to read. Using fonts which are too cursive or reducing the letter spacing so much so that the letters begin to overlap makes the words impossible to read. The words on one line should be spaced evenly, otherwise 2 words may be easily read as one. If you try to squash a long word in a little gap, play with its size and letter spacing until it fits. Creating paper cut designs means connecting everything. Paper cuts can't fall apart when you hold them at one end. They are made from one design and one card held together by itself. The trick is to connect as you go along. Designers must be sure to join one word to the next, one letter to the next, and even one part of the letter to the other. A dot can be joined to its letter by a thin stroke, or the dot can be skillfully attached to another part of the design. However, to avoid this problem altogether, just use capital letters or use a stencil font as a negative cut. Letters can be joined together by using a cursive script, but if you are using capital letters or a block script, then decrease the letter spacing until each letter is connected. The elements you put around the design could also hold the words together, or you could underline the letters to connect them, or join a letter to the letter on top by a stroke. And finally, go with your instincts. The more you design, the more you will get a feel for what's right and what's not.